Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at pages 20 and 21 in your lesson book. You can see we are working in the key of G major. This is a pretty familiar key for most of us. We have one sharp in this key signature, and when there's only one sharp, we know that that is always F sharp. So all of our F's are sharp, everything else is natural unless otherwise indicated. So we'll start with 111. We got into this routine in C major a couple of weeks ago. And remember that we're going through and playing the finger patterns within this key. So this is similar to what we did for C major, but now instead of everything being natural, the F's are sharp. So it's going to be different than what we did before. So we'll go right through each string. So we'll start with our E string if you're a violin. If you don't have an E string, then you get to rest for 3 measures here. And we're looking at our 1-2 pattern if you're a violin, right? Close 1 and 2. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Going to the A string. Violins and violas, again, a 1-2 pattern. Cellos, there's a little shift in there. And you will have 2 fingers for C natural. So they didn't mark that, but we should know that. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the D string, here's an F sharp. So we're going to have a 2-3 pattern if you're a violin or viola. Cello is making sure we're using 3 fingers for our F sharp. Here we go. And G, again, same deal, 2-3 pattern or 3 fingers for cello. That note that we're playing is a B natural, which is a high 2 or a 3 finger note, as opposed to B flat, which is the low 2 or the second finger note. So that's kind of the weird thing about playing on G, but that's okay. So here we go. And last but not least, our C string. If you're a viola, you have a 3-4 pattern. You're stretching that third finger to get an F sharp on the C string. And cellos, you have to play in extended position. 1 stretch to 2, and that makes your 4th finger an F sharp. I'm playing an octave higher, but I'll play the correct notes. So here we go. Awesome. Okay, let's keep going now to 112. The same idea, but in 3rd position. In cello, sometimes you have to visit other positions other than 3rd, which is okay. So, again, starting with the E string, 2-3 pattern for violins. Here we go. Find that first finger. Here we go. Going to the A string, 3-4 pattern, so space, space, close for violins and violas. And cellos, you have a shift up to 4th position. So here we go. Same thing on D, 3-4 pattern, and a little shift to 4th if you're a cello. Here we go. On G, if you're a violin or viola, open pattern. This is the tough one where it's all whole steps. Okay, and cellos follow what they've written for you. Here we go. And if for the C string, this is the weird one. Your 3rd finger would normally play, 3rd finger or 4th finger if you're a cello, would normally play F sharp in this key signature. So you're going to go to what cellos call 3rd and a half position, and I also call it that for violas. You're going to find where your 1st finger would normally go in 3rd position and go up a half step. So your note is going to be an F sharp. And from there you have the 1-2 pattern. So again, I'm playing an octave higher, but these are the correct pitches. Here we go with the C string. So those are all of our finger patterns in first and third position in the key of G major. Number 113 is the 2-octave G major scale. I'm not going to go over this because I know every single person from my class watching this video has learned how to play this and has played it many times. Violins, it doesn't ask you to shift. They actually are having you play all in first position, but we've learned it with the shifting in the middle. So you can choose which way you would like to practice this. But I'm going to remind everyone, we talked about this in our last lesson, that if you're wondering where your half steps are, your fingers that are close, all you have to do is write out the notes of the scale, number them from 1 to 8, and the half steps always occur between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And we talked about that in our last lesson, and I'll probably have you go through and mark it in your book at this lesson too. But that's just something to keep in the back of your mind if you're still having questions about it. Okay? We are going to skip 114 and 115 for now. If we have time in our lesson, we'll go over it. And we're looking at 116. Now, if you're a high schooler, we actually took a look at this at the beginning of the school year. Middle schoolers, we haven't done it yet. But even if you're a high schooler, I think we can still practice it with the shifting. I'm not sure that quite everyone got the shifting when we played this. So we're going to take some time to go through 116. If you take a look, we start in third position for violins and violas. Cellos, you get to start in first position, and you have a shift in a different place than what we have it. And I'm going to play for us right now the first 4 measures. This is what it's going to sound like. Some things that are sort of strange or different about that. We're up in third position for violins and violas, and we play our first finger for the G, and then for the D, you just play open D. So you just take your first finger off and play the open string. Oftentimes you won't do that in third position. You'll actually go over to G and play 2 fingers for D. But in this case, they're okay with you doing it. So it's 1 open and then 3 for the B. And if you look at the next measure, it's 2 for A, another open D, and 4 fingers for the C natural. So now I'm on measure 5. And we're all hanging out in first position for a little while. Cellos, your first note is in second and a half position, but then you go back. And so this shouldn't be too hard to play the next 4 measures, but we have to keep in the back of our mind that our C's are natural. So we're either doing a low 2 or just 2 fingers if you're cello. So that's the thing to look out for. But when we get to a measure that has F sharps, we have to adjust accordingly there. So here are the next 4 measures. It sounds like this. We're going to keep going now. We're at the measure that has the 2 with a circle in it. This can actually be played as a round, so that 2 with a circle is indicating a starting spot, but we'll just use that for our reference right now. And violins and violas have something really interesting here. They have what's called a replacement shift. It means you play a note, and then in the next note, you play it again, but with a different finger. And you want to make sure it sounds the same, right? We're going from a D to a D. If it doesn't sound the same, people are going to know something didn't quite work out the way it was supposed to. So you're going from here to here. And as you keep looking in the next measure, it's a D to a C. We've run out of fingers. So to get to that C, we need to go to 4 on D. So start at the 2 with a circle with me, and we're going to play from there. Here we go. Shift. Good. Now the next 4 measures sound like this. what I just played, that little fast part that came up, is probably one of the most challenging things in this. If you're a violin or a viola, cellos, you get to be in first position for that. But violins and violas, it goes like this. And it's a challenge because a lot of people have a hard time going from 1 over to 4. So that's a really tough thing that you have to work through slowly and build up to being able to play that. The end of this is easy. It's all in first position for everybody. So right now I'm going to play through all of 116. So you have an idea of what it sounds like, and you can be working through it to make sure your shifts are perfect when you do the shifting in this one. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do that again. See, I messed up. I'll do that one more time. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So take some time to really get that down. This is probably one of my favorite exercises in the whole book. So we will be spending some time on this in your lesson. And we are going to end with number 117. And let's take a look at what we have here. So we start in first position. It looks like cellos, you get out of having to do any shifting for this whole exercise 117. You're in first position the whole time. Violins and violas aren't so lucky, but we have, let's see, one shift in the third complete measure, and it looks like the rest of it is in first. No, I take that back. Then there's another shift in the second line. But overall, not that bad. This is something we basically should be able to sight read through. So I'm going to play it right now. If there's something you need to work through, then please take the time to do that. I'm going to play the A line. I do have a page turn in the middle, so you have to bear with me when I get there. But here's 117. So 1, 2, 3, here we go. We'll keep going and ignore the repeat. All right, so be working through those. We will play through all of them and work out any problems that you have in your lesson. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.